3 angels were sent last night, but you missed the sign. Watch this before they pass over again. Last night, the heavens stirred with quiet urgency. In the silence of your slumber, a divine assignment was carried out. 3 angels, sent from the throne of heaven, descended into your atmosphere. They did not come with loud fanfare. They came subtly, softly, like wind brushing across your soul. Their arrival was not marked by thunder or lightning, but by the still voice inside your spirit, one you might have ignored. These weren't ordinary angels. These were messengers of motion, sent to shift you, alert you, lift you. But the sign they brought went unnoticed. You missed it. Not because you are unworthy, but because you have been distracted, overwhelmed, and surrounded by voices louder than your own intuition. The angels came to deposit clarity, to expose what's hidden, and to remove what has delayed your release. But while your body was resting, your spirit was scattered. Heaven moved, but you stayed still. You felt a discomfort last night. You sensed something pulling at your heart, tugging at your soul. That was them. They didn't come empty-handed. They came carrying messages, warnings, instructions, and the coordinates of your next blessing. But you missed the moment. You shrugged off the sensation. You turned away from the whisper. You dismissed the unrest as nothing more than restlessness. And so, they passed quietly, waiting only a few hours before returning to the realm that sent them. But hear this clearly now. Mercy is circling back. The realm above has chosen to give you another window. The angels have not left permanently. They hover, waiting. You have one more chance to perceive what was invisible yesterday. One more chance to catch what heaven sent before it vanishes. Archangel Michael is speaking now, not to punish, not to shame, but to awaken. Because what you missed is returning. And if you miss it again, what could have taken days will take months. What was supposed to be immediate will be delayed. Heaven wants your alignment, not your perfection. You are being summoned to look again, listen again, feel again. This time, don't let it slip through your fingers. Archangel Michael says, something sacred shifted in your atmosphere, and you didn't even know it. While the world slept, the heavens released a message encoded in presence, not sound. You were touched by the breeze of divinity, yet you thought it was just a dream. The angels came, not to entertain, not to scare, but to realign you. Their presence carried the weight of prophecy. Their arrival was the echo of prayers you hadn't forgotten you prayed. But now, because you missed it, you feel the unrest. A strange heaviness you felt at dawn, that lingering tension in your chest, that unexplainable moment of stillness that interrupted your thoughts, that was the residue of divine movement. You did not imagine it. You were visited. Archangel Michael declares with authority, this is not to shame you, it is to awaken you. The atmosphere around you has already changed. Even now, you are being watched by the same forces that descended last night. They didn't knock. They didn't shout. They moved like whispers through a forest. Only the spiritually sensitive could feel their wind. And yet, the Lord of hosts has asked them to return one more time. Because grace still rests upon your calling. Because your destiny is too vital to be postponed by one missed moment. But understand this, the next time they arrive, they will not wait long. The next 24 hours hold a crack in the veil, a thin place between earth and eternity where instructions can be heard if your spirit is open. This is your moment to tune in, not tap out. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. But you are on the edge of missing what heaven already prepared. Archangel Michael stands over you now, his sword drawn. not to cut you, but to sever the veil of confusion. You are being stirred awake. Do not take this lightly. The realm above is watching how you move in the next moments. Because this time, the angels won't knock twice. This is a divine route. And this time, if you are still, if you are ready, you will receive what was sent last night. This time, the sign will not pass you by. Type "I am ready" to receive in the comments. Blessing number 1111 is now surrounding your name. Something happened while you were unaware. Not just spiritually, but emotionally, relationally. There has been a shift not only in the heavens, but in the hearts of those around you. A conversation happened without you present. Your name came up, but not in celebration, in suspicion. Your silence lately has spoken volumes, and not everyone is interpreting it through love. Someone believes you're hiding something. Someone thinks your distance is a strategy, not a symptom of growth. While you were focused on peace, someone nearby was feeding a narrative built on fragments. And worse, they're not keeping it to themselves. You felt uneasy this morning. That wasn't paranoia. That was spiritual disruption, heaven nudging you to be still and look deeper. You weren't meant to wake up confused. You were supposed to wake up aware. But the enemy's greatest tactic is to shroud clarity in noise. The moment the angels came, distractions followed. You were meant to hear a whisper from heaven, but instead, someone's opinion started to echo louder. You brushed it off. Thought it was in your head. But it wasn't. It was in their mouths. And their mouths have moved faster than their hearts. Understand this. Someone close to you believes they've figured you out. They've pieced together assumptions, misinterpreted your healing journey, and created a version of you that does not exist. They thought they knew you, heaven says, but they only saw what your silence didn't explain. There is someone who watched you transform, and instead of celebrating your glow up, they became suspicious of your peace. Their soul is irritated by your serenity. Your insecurity is mistaking your strength as arrogance. They are not your enemy, but they are no longer your safe space either. The angels that came last night didn't just bring blessings, they brought exposure. You see, divine visitation always surfaces hidden agendas. What was buried under smiles and check-ins has started to surface. Someone you called friend may have called you something else behind your back. And it's not just gossip, it's spiritual misalignment. They are feeling left behind, but they won't admit it. So instead, they project. They question your decisions. They twist your motives. They minimize your growth because they don't understand the cost of your healing. Heaven is saying, pay attention to emotional disturbances in your circle right now. Pay attention to random tension, unexpected coldness, or sudden distance. These are not coincidences. They are signaled. There is nothing wrong with your intuition. It's not anxiety. It's spiritual alertness. The angels stirred up the energy around you to see who would respond in love and who would react in confusion. And now, the veil is lifting. Someone is currently trying to figure out where they stand with you. But instead of asking, they are assuming. They are replaying every old version of you, unable to comprehend who you're becoming. And because they can't understand it, they are starting to fear it. This is where the danger lies, not in their words, but in their intentions. The angels saw it. That's why they were sent, not only to deliver a message to you, but to observe the hearts surrounding you. You need to hear this. Not everyone who smiles with you is aligned with your next season. And the sign you missed last night may have been their reaction to the shift. Look again. That strange dream. That moment of hesitation when you were about to respond to someone. That uneasiness when a name popped into your head. That was not random. It was the angelic realm prompting you to take notice of who no longer fits into the frequency you're being elevated to. Someone is watching you, but they're not just admiring. They're analyzing, trying to decode your silence. But here's the truth. Your silence isn't hiding a secret. It's holding your power. And their misunderstanding is about to reveal their misalignment. You are stepping into clarity. Let the confusion around you confirm what your spirit already sensed. Heaven doesn't expose to embarrass. It exposes to protect. Blessing number 777 is forming a shield of clarity around your circle. Type expose what's hidden in the comments now. You thought this was just tension. You thought the recent unease was about mood, emotions, or personalities. But let this be your awakening. This conflict you've been feeling, internally and externally, is not just personal. It's spiritual. The sign you missed last night wasn't just an invitation into peace. It was a warning about spiritual interference. Because when heaven moves to elevate you, hell moves to interrupt you. And that's exactly what has been happening. The unease, the confusion, the sudden misalignments, they are not random emotional fluctuations. They are warfare in disguise. The angels that were sent didn't just come bearing messages. They came as a spiritual firewall, standing between you and the invisible forces trying to access your mind, your emotions, and your energy. You see, the enemy doesn't always attack loudly. Sometimes, it creeps in subtly, through distorted relationships, wounded perspectives, delayed responses, and misunderstood silence. The goal isn't just to distract you, it's to disconnect you from divine instruction. Because if you miss the divine cue, you miss the divine movement. And when that happens, spiritual momentum is lost. You must understand this. The conflict that began shortly after the angels passed wasn't an accident. The tension you felt between you and someone close. That odd atmosphere at your workplace. That strange heaviness on your heart after a simple conversation. That wasn't emotional residue. It was a reaction to divine presence. Shadows will always stir when light increases. And your light has been increasing. There's a reason you feel spiritually watched. Because you are. Not just by people, but by forces. Both heaven and hell are observing your next move. The angels were dispatched not only to guide you, but to gauge the environment around you. They didn't just watch you. They watched how others responded to you. The divine realm is always evaluating access. Who is qualified to walk with you? Who is draining your strength? Who is tolerating your growth, but secretly resenting it? Heaven is revealing. You are not the same. And because of that, you no longer fit where you once belonged. This emotional disruption is not rejection. It's revelation. You are being shown who cannot walk into the next chapter with you. But here's the truth. They won't always tell you. They won't always argue or exit. Some will simply disconnect emotionally, hoping you'll do the rest. That's why the conflict feels silent but heavy. It's not being discussed, but it's definitely present. You are chosen. Not casually, but intentionally. Anointed. Not for attention, but for assignment. And your assignment carries a frequency, one that triggers both favor and friction. People who are not aligned with your call will eventually feel uncomfortable around your anointing. That's not pride, it's prophetic reality. Some people aren't leaving because they hate you. They are pulling back because your elevation reminds them of their stagnation. And instead of confronting their own delay, they start projecting it onto your peace. Let heaven reframe this for you. You are not being isolated. You are being insulated. You are not losing connections. You are being delivered from contamination. The people fading now were not assigned to your next season. And the conflict, it's a final purge. The angels are sifting through your circle, your thoughts, your patterns, removing access points that hell used to delay you before. You are being fortified. Do not internalize the emotional conflict. This is spiritual pruning. You were never meant to carry everyone. You were never meant to explain everything. The tension you feel is heaven breaking the soul ties that would have slowed you down. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels confusing. But understand, pruning is not punishment. It's preparation. You're being made lighter for elevation. The three angels that passed last night didn't just leave revelation. They left refinement. They stripped away unseen cords. They activated a divine audit. And now, you're seeing the truth, not just about others, but about yourself. You're learning who you are without the need for validation. You're discovering your identity beyond their perception. Spiritual warfare doesn't always come with demons and fire. It often comes in the form of misaligned relationships and inner turmoil. But when you see it for what it truly is, you stop reacting emotionally and start responding spiritually. You stop arguing with people and start aligning with purpose. You stop trying to explain and start elevating in silence. You are under divine protection now. The sign you missed last night isn't gone. It's more of an entered insight. What was invisible is now becoming unavoidable. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Let the emotional disruption be a signal. Your spirit is evolving. The war was never against your name. It was against your future. Blessing number 313 is unlocking discernment within you now. Type "it's not personal, it's spiritual" in the comments below. There is a stirring around you, a shift that demands your attention. What happened last night was not just spiritual, it was strategic. The three angels who descended into your atmosphere didn't simply pass by, they passed judgment on delay, on distraction, on deception. And now the clock has started ticking. You may have missed the first sign, but heaven is giving you one last opportunity to respond before something irreversible is set in motion. There is someone connected to your past, someone who once had access to your heart, your trust, or your vulnerability, who is now circling back. But this return is not a reunion. It's a test. The enemy doesn't always show up as disaster. Sometimes, it returns in the form of a familiar face with familiar words, but a completely altered spirit. You may get a message, unexpected, sudden, seemingly innocent. You might feel the urge to re-explain, to re-engage, to clear the air. But listen carefully. This is not the moment to talk. This is the moment to discern. Heaven is whispering, be still. Be watchful. Something is about to approach you masked as closure, but it is sabotage in disguise. You were about to step into something sacred, but the enemy noticed the shift in your posture, the rise in your authority, the clarity in your calling, the stillness in your soul. And now, a counter move is being prepared. The angels saw it last night. That's why they came. Not just to bless you, but to block what was never meant to return. Someone is planning to reinsert themselves into your life, not because they've changed, but because they've sensed your change. And your peace feels like rejection to their ego. They miss the version of you who second-guessed your worth, who gave endlessly without boundaries, who kept trying to prove you were enough. But that version of you no longer exists. And now, their return isn't a revival, it's a reminder. Be alert. In the next 72 hours, you will encounter a choice that feels casual but is critical. You'll be tempted to reopen an old door, to reconsider an old connection, to entertain a narrative that God already resolved. And if you do, if you let your need to be understood outweigh your need to be protected, you will delay what the angels were sent to release. Do not get caught in emotional nostalgia. Do not confuse longing with leading. Heaven doesn't repeat lessons. It reveals patterns. And this one must be broken. There is someone who is actively discussing you right now. They are trying to decide how to reapproach you. Their intentions are unclear, even to themselves. But their spirit is unsettled by your transformation. They don't understand your silence, so they're filling in the blanks with stories of their own. Your words will sound right. Your presence may feel familiar, but you must ask yourself, do they align with the version of me heaven is calling forth? The angels saw this moment before it came. They were dispatched because of it. And while you missed the sign last night, this message is your second chance. The next approach, whether it's a message, an invite, a phone call, or a casual check-in, is not a coincidence. It's a test of your emotional maturity. It's a test of your spiritual readiness. Will you open the door to something God closed, or will you guard the promise that's waiting to be delivered? Let me be clear, not every voice deserves your reply. Not every knock needs to be answered. Sometimes, heaven watches how you respond before it releases the next level. The angels are hovering, waiting to report back. Your restraint is not weakness. It is alignment. Your silence is not avoidance. It is warfare. Every response carries spiritual weight. And in this moment, your stillness may be the very thing that activates your next breakthrough. You are at a crossroads, not just emotionally, but atmospherically. The person planning to reach out is unaware they are being used by unseen forces to distract you. They're not the enemy, but they may be the instrument. And you must be the gatekeeper. The next 3 days are not ordinary. They are a spiritual checkpoint. What you do, how you respond, who you entertain, it will determine the speed and scope of what heaven does next. Do not fumble this window. Do not mistake comfort for confirmation. Just because it feels familiar doesn't mean it's safe. Heaven is not asking you to react. It is inviting you to restrain. Because what's coming is bigger than what's trying to return. And if you miss this sign again, the angels will not wait. They will pass, carrying the instructions, the revelation, and the restoration you were meant to receive. Blessing number 144 is surrounding your decisions with divine fire. Type "I will not open old doors" in the comments now. Now that heaven has alerted you, now that you know the angels came, and the moment was missed, what do you do next? You don't panic. You don't chase. You don't overthink or try to fix what wasn't broken to begin with. What you do is anchor. This is your instruction. Be still, be aware, and do not react. Because what's happening around you is not just noise. It's divine sorting. You're not being overlooked. You're being protected. And your silence in this moment is your strongest form of spiritual warfare. The angels were not sent to you last night because you were in danger of defeat. They were sent because you're dangerously close to breakthrough. And when you're on the edge of elevation, the enemy doesn't send storms, he sends distractions. That's why your emotions have been swinging without reason. That's why you're suddenly questioning people, doubting your own decisions, second-guessing your growth. This is the pressure before the promise, the disruption before the release. But you need to hear this. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every accusation needs your voice. You were not built to chase understanding from those who were never meant to walk with your destiny. God is your defender. Heaven is your vindicator. And the three angels who came last night were sent not to demand performance, but to confirm alignment. They didn't leave disappointed in you. They left recording the atmosphere around you. They marked the resistance. They identified what needed to be done, what needed to be exposed, what needed to be protected. Your job right now is not to force movement. It is to master stillness. You may feel the temptation to explain yourself to someone who is misreading your silence. Resist it. You may feel the urge to clear the air with someone who has been distant, cold, or vague. Don't. Not now. When God is fighting for you, your voice becomes your shield only when it is quiet. Every time you defend yourself in the flesh, you delay the justice that was supposed to arrive in the spirit. Let me say it again with clarity. You do not need to explain a healing journey that others were never invited into. You do not owe updates to those who abandoned you during your transformation. You do not have to answer to voices that only rise when your silence makes them uncomfortable. Your assignment in this moment is internal alignment, not external approval. You're being called to rise, quietly, steadily, purposefully. Stay grounded. Fast if you need to. Journal if it clears the fog. But above all, do not entertain what God has dismissed. The spiritual tension around you is not asking for a reaction. It is preparing you for a reward. Do not let frustration hijack your discernment. Let your peace be proof that you're protected. Let your stillness be a loud message to the atmosphere. I'm in alignment with heaven, and I will not be moved. You are safe in this silence. The warfare happening around you isn't personal, it's positional. The enemy knows that if you stay grounded and don't move prematurely, the angels will return. And this time, they will release what was missed. The key to unlocking that is not in striving. It's in trusting. You're not running out of time. You're running into divine timing. And heaven will not let you miss what is rightfully yours when you posture yourself in humility and stillness. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Guard your atmosphere like it's fragile, because it is. The instructions are simple, but they are powerful. Do not react. Do not respond. Do not re-explain. Every time you choose stillness over impulse, the heavens record it as wisdom. Every time you remain silent in the face of slander, the angels lift you higher. Every time you pray instead of panic, you align yourself with acceleration. There's no need to fear what's coming. If anything, the enemy is afraid of your stillness, because it tells heaven, I trust you more than I trust my emotions. That's what summons the angels again. That's what brings restoration. That's what activates divine routing. You're not being delayed anymore. You're being delivered from the cycle that caused delay in the first place. This is not stillness in defeat. It's stillness in dominion. Blessing number 221 is resting upon your stillness and obedience. Type I choose stillness over struggle in the comments now. Something is happening beneath the surface. Though you missed the sign last night, you have not missed your moment. And even though the angels departed without immediate release, they left behind the residue of divine movement, proof that something is still shifting in your favor. And now, the silence you've chosen, the stillness you're keeping, is not empty, it's pregnant with power. What was once a missed opportunity is becoming a divine setup for your empowerment. Let this be your confirmation. You are not who you were even yesterday. Something is breaking off of you, quietly, invisibly, but completely. Heaven has seen your posture. You didn't defend yourself. You didn't retaliate. You didn't beg for attention or chase for closure. And because of that, your spiritual authority is increasing. You're no longer trying to be seen. You're walking like someone already watched by heaven. And that confidence, that quiet fire, it's setting off alarms in the spirit realm. The people who thought you were falling apart are about to see you rising in silence. Those who misread your silence as surrender will now watch you move in divine strength. The ones who were plotting on the version of you they knew are about to be confronted by the person you've become. Because you're no longer operating from pain. You're walking in purpose. You're no longer explaining your calling. You're executing it. The angels that passed by last night didn't come to test your perfection. They came to witness your pivot. They came to see if you would react out of fear or move out of faith. And though you missed the exact moment of their arrival, your response to their absence has spoken louder than any words could. Because what you didn't recognize in the spirit last night, you're starting to perceive now. And that perception, that awakening, is power. You powered. Let this truth settle in your bones. You're not behind. You're becoming. You're not late. You're learning. You're not overlooked. You're being observed for elevation. Heaven doesn't release divine promotion to just anyone. It searches for those who can steward silence. And you've proven that stillness doesn't mean stagnation. It means surrender. You surrendered your right to respond, and in return, God is about to release your reward. There's a shift in your name now. Spiritually, atmospherically, even emotionally, people won't recognize you. Not because you've changed everything about yourself, but because you finally started standing in who you really are. Your light is different now. Your atmosphere carries authority. You're walking differently. You're speaking less, but carrying more. That's not coincidence. It's divine empowerment. And your enemies, they are confused. They expected a reaction. They prepared for your meltdown. They predicted your collapse. But instead, they're being met with silence that carries weight. And that silence, that calm refusal to stoop, to explain, to argue, it's becoming your most dangerous weapon. Because now they know they can't touch what heaven has sealed. Hear this deeply. Your dignity has become your defense. You didn't raise your voice, and yet heaven heard it all. You didn't clap back, and yet the angels took notes. You didn't send the message, and yet the heavens responded on your behalf. And now, because you stayed quiet, you've been marked for public restoration. The same people who questioned your worth will soon have to witness your rising, and they won't be able to explain it. You are stepping into a season where your silence will speak louder than their slander. Your glow-up will speak louder than their gossip, and your fruit will speak louder than their fiction. This is not revenge. This is revelation. God is revealing you, not because you fought back, but because you stood firm. And now, like gold refined in fire, you're coming out unshaken, untouched, undeniable. Don't minimize what's happening. Your spirit is being promoted. Your name is being whispered in rooms you haven't entered. The angels that visited last night may have left, but the wind they carried is still swirling around you. Their presence activated something in you. And now, it's too late for the enemy to reverse it. You've seen too much, grown too deep, surrendered too fully. You are not going back. Your power is not in your performance. It's in your positioning. You stood when it was easier to crumble. You withheld when it was tempting to lash out. You chose silence, not because you were scared, but because you were selected. And now, the storm is clearing and what's being revealed is your true form. Blessing number 818 is releasing divine strength and spiritual promotion over your life. Type "I am rising" in silence in the comments now. There is something sacred about missed moments, because in the kingdom of God, even delays have purpose. Even the sign you missed last night carried within it a seed, not of punishment, but of preparation. What you thought was failure was actually a filter, removing the last fragments of emotional clutter and misaligned attachment so that what's next could come clean, pure, and unblocked. You didn't fail the test, you simply entered a new one. And now the resolution is beginning. Heaven is not holding your silence against you. In fact, it's honoring it. The 3 angels who passed over your life last night recorded not only your atmosphere, but your heart posture. And while the physical sign may have gone unnoticed, your soul still responded. Somewhere deep in your spirit, you felt it. You just didn't yet have the language to name it. That sudden wakefulness in the night, a dream you only partially remembered, that moment of clarity you brushed off as a coincidence. It was all part of the setup. The sign may have passed, but the message remains. Now, because of your posture, because of your stillness, because of your surrender, transformation has begun. The angels may have returned for a moment, but they are coming back again. Not empty-handed this time, but carrying breakthrough. What was once withheld is now being released. The door that stayed shut because of delay is now creaking open. And this time, your spirit is awake enough to walk through it. Prophetically, this is your turning point. The spiritual resistance hath been broken. The internal tug-of-war you've been feeling is lifting. The tension that wrapped itself around your decisions is unraveling. A divine peace is taking its place, a peace that doesn't make sense to the mind, but wraps itself around the soul like a mantle. Heaven is saying, the storm has served its purpose. Now comes the still waters. Expect to feel lighter in the days ahead. Don't question it. Don't sabotage it by searching for the next battle. What's coming isn't another test. It's a blessing born of endurance. You've proven that you can walk through fire and keep your integrity. You've shown heaven that your heart can remain soft even while your surroundings turn cold. That's not weakness. That's divine resilience. And because of that, the reward that was once postponed is now being realigned with your name. There is a restoration coming that will not just replace what was lost, but multiply it. Every delay that seemed like a denial, it was setting you up for increase. Every person that left while you were becoming, they created space for those divinely assigned to your new season. The void you felt when you missed the sign last night is about to be filled with the clarity of divine timing. The angels didn't disappear. They're returning with double. Watch how truth begins to surface. Someone who misread you will feel convicted to apologize. A door you thought was closed permanently will swing back open, but this time on your terms. Resources you needed will arrive without strain. Insight will come in dreams, in patterns, in sudden moments of awareness. And most importantly, your spirit will begin to feel what it has long waited for: settlement. No more tugging. No more questioning if it was all in your head. Heaven is confirming it now. You were right to stay silent. You were right to wait. You were right to let go. And because of that, elevation is no longer a distant hope. It's a current unfolding. This is your prophetic word. What was missed will be made manifest. What was hidden will be revealed. What was withheld will be released. You are stepping into a time of divine recovery, not just for what was lost last night, but for what hath been accumulating over years. The missed signs, the ignored whispers, the delayed promises, heaven has accounted for all of it. And now, The weight of glory is falling on your life. This is not a moment to shrink. This is not a time to hesitate. The transformation has already started. Let it happen. Let the old fall away. Let the clarity come. The angels are circling back, not just to pass, but to pour. You won't have to chase it. You'll recognize the sign this time. Because now you are ready. Blessing number 2024 is releasing prophetic fulfillment into your atmosphere. Type "I receive my release" in the comments now. You've walked through the revelation. You felt the piercing clarity of truth. You've seen how heaven orchestrated every moment, even the silence, even the misunderstanding, even the delay. Now, it's time for you to step out of passive awareness and into spiritual alignment. This is your divine invitation, not just to receive this message, but to respond to it. Because in the kingdom of God, your agreement is what activates your assignment. The angels that passed over you last night didn't just come for observation. They came bearing opportunity. The kind that doesn't just visit, it returns to those who are prepared. But preparation alone is not enough. There must be activation. There must be a moment where you stop just watching and start engaging. Heaven is listening right now. And the spiritual realm does not respond to hesitation. It responds to faith, to declaration, to bold alignment with divine timing. This is your instruction. Type your agreement. Declare your readiness. Claim your restoration. This may seem small in the natural, but in the spirit, your response becomes a door. And as you speak it, type it, declare it, heaven records it. You're not just watching a message. You're participating in a divine alignment. You are stepping into the vibration of fulfillment. Type "I receive my release." Type "I will not miss the sign again." Type "I'm ready for the angels to return." This is not for show. It is not for performance. It is a moment of personal alignment with prophetic truth. Because the truth is, many will hear this, but not all will respond. And the ones who stay passive, the ones who hesitate, the ones who say maybe later, they will feel the same wave pass over them again and again and wonder why breakthrough never lands. But you're not waiting for another pass. You're not watching from the sidelines. You're stepping into the center of the shift. Don't let pride keep you silent. Don't let skepticism keep you stuck. This is your moment to agree with heaven publicly and intentionally. Because when you type "I receive," you are signaling to every principality that you are awake now. You are aware. You are aligned. And most importantly, you are ready. This is not just about you. When you respond, you set an atmosphere around your life. You invite protection, direction, and acceleration. You give permission for angels to move on your behalf without interference. You show the realm of the unseen that you are an active participant in your own destiny, not a bystander. Don't just listen. Activate. If this message has stirred something inside you, don't ignore that stirring. That's not emotion. That's not coincidence. That's the echo of heaven trying to wake something dormant in you. Respond while the atmosphere is open. Respond before the sign passes again. This is divine timing. Say it with your spirit. Say it with your hands. Say it in the comments. "I am ready. I am aligned. I am in agreement with heaven." Let your words echo into your tomorrow. Let them declare to your future that you didn't miss the moment twice, that you were awakened, that you rose when others slept, that you responded when others hesitated, that you claimed your divine portion when it returned for a second pass. Your response is the open gate. Your agreement is the invitation, and your declaration is the access code. Don't let this pass without action. Don't leave the angelic invitation unanswered. Speak it, write it, declare it, and watch what heaven releases. Blessing number 333 is unlocking supernatural gates in response to your agreement. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments right now. Now that the veil has lifted, now that the message has reached your spirit, there's only one thing left to do. Stand in the fullness of who you are. Not who you were yesterday, not who others expected you to be, but the true you, the divinely protected, spiritually awakened, and heaven-backed you that was always hidden beneath the noise. This is your closing affirmation, and it is not to remind you of what was missed, but to anchor you in what is now being made manifest. You are not the person who missed the sign. You are the one heaven chose to reveal the truth to afterward. You are the one who got a second chance, not because you begged for it, but because your purpose is too urgent, too powerful, too strategic for God to let it fall into the shadows. The angels may have passed once, but they did not pass you over permanently. They left a space open for your alignment. And now you've taken your position. And because you've aligned, the atmosphere is shifting around you. They tried to misunderstand you. They tried to box you in. They tried to pull you into battles you've already outgrown. But you stayed silent. You stayed grounded. You didn't beg for validation. And that posture, that unshakable stillness, became your declaration to the realm of darkness that you are no longer to be played with. You are no longer the version of yourself that tolerated nonsense in the name of peace. You are no longer chasing explanations. You are now the revelation. Say this in your heart and let heaven echo it back. I am not what they said. I am not what I feared. I am what God has spoken. I am what the heavens revealed. You are not a victim. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right on time, God's time. And while others scrambled, you stayed still. While others tried to predict the next move, you surrendered to it. That is not weakness. That is divine intelligence. And now, your obedience had opened a door that no man, no lie, no mistake, and no missed sign can shut. Repeat this truth. I did not miss it. I was made ready by it. Because missing the sign wasn't punishment, it was positioning. You revealed what still needed to fall off. It exposed what still needed to be seen. It stripped away distractions. It cleansed your inner world. It forced you to listen deeper. And now, because of it, you are clear. You are certain. You are sealed. Let your enemies talk. Let confusion circle. Let others wonder what's happening. They don't need to understand it. They're not the ones heaven sent to witness it. The angels are. And they're watching you now with a different gaze. You're not asleep anymore. You're not second-guessing. You're standing in the fire unmoved. And because of that, you've been marked for manifestation. To hold your peace. Hold your power. You don't need loud prayers to be heard. You don't need big reactions to be effective. Heaven sees the quiet ones, the faithful ones, the ones who trust even in confusion. That's you. You are the storm's survivor and the sign's receiver. You are no longer waiting for confirmation. You are the confirmation. Remember this always. Your silence was not weakness. It was strategy. Your stillness was not defeat. It was elevation. Your obedience wasn't wasted. It was recorded. And now, heaven is responding. The angels are returning. And this time, you will not miss them. Walk boldly. Breathe deeply. Speak softly and carry the full weight of your divine assignment, because when you rise from this, you will not rise the same. You are not a victim. You are the revelation. The sign is returning, and this time you're ready. Blessing number 555 seals this message into your future. Type I am the revelation in the comments now.